It was the last tour, so all the congrats, thank you. But it's bittersweet. Like, the You're Welcome tour is over. That was the official last run of the You're Welcome tour. Like, I haven't fully, like, soaked in my thoughts and think about how much this has meant to me, because it's meant a lot. It's meant a lot. This whole tour, this whole experience, being able to be on stage with my friends, like, it's meant a lot. So I don't know if I'll get into that there on this stream, but I'll try and gather my thoughts at least. I should have everything figured out by Tuesday, if not earlier. But, like, I couldn't even think of them when we were on the road. Like, I went down the line and thanked all of the guys individually for, like, more so, like, how they've been a part of my life and who they are as people. And that was, like, I don't even know. Turn up my mic a bit. How about I turn down the music? Because that's easier. I turned up the mic a tad bit. I don't know why it's so quiet all of a sudden. Normally it's fine. Check. I guess because normally I have it a bit closer to my face. Anyway, so, and I'm usually louder because I have headphones on. I think that's more of what it is, because I'm using my gaming setup mic as opposed to my normal talking mic, because I wanted to sit over here because I'm going to be doing both today, so trying to catch up there. Hope that made it a lot better. Obviously, the mic is a lot closer to my face now, and I did turn up the sensitivity, so that should be helpful. Yeah, hold up. So, like, the last show, I definitely cried. It was, like, it was emotional for me because it's historic. It's a landmark in my life that I don't know if I'll ever be able to be a part of again, or to top, or, you know, and it was a big deal for me because it was like one of the first super big projects, and I mean super big. Like, Date with Markiplier was a big project. Who Killed Markiplier was an even bigger project, but tour itself was much bigger than that. Like, I coordinated flying all the guys into town, figuring out that week. I did catering for that entire week where we were figuring out the show and planning the show, and had our improv intensives and all of that. So, like, I took care of the flights, figured out flights for the guys, figured out the days that would work for all of us, coordinated and got a whole bunch of food. And this is just for the planning stuff, where we were planning out the idea behind the show. And, like, there was so much work that went into all of that with improv, with everything else. I even planned, like, booked shows that we were going to go to watch improv during that intensive week. Like, and it's like, it's so crazy to think about how much I put into the front end of that show. And then for the first few runs, I was, like, coordinating with the production team and making sure everything was on the up and up with friends and family tickets and things like that, while also being cast. Like, I put so much in on the front end, and later on, Evan came on and took the reins with regard to that, because I was definitely overwhelmed trying to be cast and trying to do all of that. It was a lot, because there could be an issue that came up before the show that I had to help deal with or answer questions on, and it just stressed me out before the top of the show. And transitioning from being, like, work talk and figuring out problems and critical thinking and problem solving to going into being cast, like, that was so much. And it wasn't until the beginning of this year that it started transitioning, when we did the West Coast tour, when we did the European tour, and then Australia. So like all of the other tours, when we were kind of still figuring it out, I was doing more behind the scenes than really any of the rest of the cast. I mean, Mark did a lot of the marketing. He did the promotion. He did the stuff with the videos and was telling you guys about it on his channel and stuff like that, because this tour wouldn't have happened without Mark. Bar none, would not have happened without Mark, because it was Mark's brainchild. We all came up with it, but he came up with the idea, hey, let's do a tour. And he included all of us in on it. And then after that, it became our baby. Mark, myself, Wade, Bob, Ethan, we came together and formed this. We had input from Amy, who was incredibly helpful and did some of the graphics, and then Catherine was editing pretty much the whole time, and then helped us with some of the game designs as far as visualization on stage here and there. And then, of course, Dan came on. We had Rachel. We had an amazing people on the production side. Swanee, our director, Justin, Allison, Carla, AK, Kirsten, Jeremiah, Phil. Phil was amazing. He was the only one who was there for all of them until that last run in Australia. Aaron, Ryan, Chase, like so many different people had their hands in the show, and we evolved it as we went on. And I give a lot of credit to Mark, but Mark wouldn't have had this idea if not for you guys being willing to buy tickets. This would not have been a successful thing. This would not have been as wonderful and amazing of a journey for all of us if not for you guys. You guys made it possible. Nobody would let us be on that stage if not for you guys being willing to buy tickets to come to the show and do all of that. Like, there's so much that went into this that you don't see, that you didn't see. And I put my heart and soul into this tour from the get-go. And the reason I was able to do that is because Mark invited me to go on it with him. And Mark invited all of us to go on it with him. And, like, it's something I never imagined I would do. I dreamed of the potential opportunity to do something like that. To see the world, tour the world. And we didn't really get to see a lot of it until Australia because we didn't have the days off. But to do something like that and make it something so special that I got to share with family, with my brother, with my cousins, with my aunt and uncle, my mom and my dad. It was amazing. It wasn't just one person's brainchild, it was all of ours. And I loved it. And behind the scenes, between shows, I wasn't always in a good mood. I wasn't always having the most fun because it was a grind. It was tough. But no matter how upset I'd be about one thing or another that was going on in my life outside of tour, when I stepped on that stage, I was so happy. Everything fell away. I was having fun with my friends, laughing with them, joking with them, making stuff up and showing you guys what we could do and how stupid we are at the same time. And of course, the person who really is not thanked enough on that stage and is just as much cast as the rest of us was Dan. Dan, I still remember first meeting Dan when we were trying to find an improv musician, and just, he was perfect. It was him, another guy stepped up and we're like, all right, we like Dan. And Dan is the most talented, kindest, hardest working, like, dude I have ever met. He wanted this show to be as great as it could be. He wanted him to live up to us when really we were trying to live up to what he was capable of. Dan is a loving husband, a loving father, and a fantastic, amazing friend. And if not for this tour, I wouldn't have met Dan. He was the most talented person on that stage, and I think the rest of the guys would completely 100% agree with that. Dan is incredible. And that's not to sell any of the rest of the guys short, because they had faith and belief in me when I didn't have it in me, and trust in me to go into those scenes and say whatever it was, and knew I could come up with something to come back with. That Mark had the faith in me to bring me on this show and allowed me to step out of my shell and fall in love with improv. Improv was something that he introduced to me when I first appeared in his videos. It's the reason I started enjoying acting and started being more and more comfortable in front of the camera. It was something that was just fun. It was like playing pretend as a kid all over again. You make it up as you go and you're immersed in it. There's no escaping. You live in the reality that you create. And it sparked my imagination again. It sparked my creativity again, and I loved it. And every time I stepped on that stage, whether we would have cheers, boos, laughs, or no laughs, I was having fun. I was in the moment. I was loving every second of it. I got to meet some incredible people that came up onto the stage and hear their stories. Hear the stuff that they've been through. Hear about their friends and family, and do an improv scene based upon what little information we were able to get in a short amount of time. To be able to dance with some of you guys. To be able to laugh. To play video games. To interact with you guys in a way that otherwise we're not able to, except for through the internet. And to be able to do it in person. That tour changed my life. And it will forever, those memories, those things, that if I have kids in the future, I can be like, guess what your dad got to do? Guess who your dad is friends with? Or if I'm an uncle or anything else, that's something I can be proud of for the rest of my life. Something I can think of and be so happy thinking about it. Guess who your dad is? Tormy, how dare you? Like, it wasn't until I started talking about it that I fully understood where I was sitting. I got to get to know Bob so much better. These little trips that we had, I had guarantees of when I was going to see all of the guys again. When I was going to be able to hang out with Wade and Molly and Bob and Mandy when she could come along, and Ethan and Amy and Mark, without being overly busy. The only thing that we had to do was be there and to do the tour, sound check, and everything else. Like, incredible. I got an email earlier today from one of the head dudes from the production team. And he wanted to thank me for putting so much work and putting my heart and doing everything I could to be as helpful as I could on this tour. And I was blown away that he even thought to just send me an email. Oh gosh, Revy, that's scary. Guess what your dad did on stage? That's terrifying. But this tour, I'm so sad to see it go. But at the same time, it made sense. It was difficult. We all have different things that we're working on and different things that we're trying to do. And Mark had things that he wanted to focus on. Ethan had other stuff that he's planning and working on that I'm excited to see him explore and do, and I'm super happy for him. Wade got married while we were still doing, like, between tour dates. I got to spend time with people I don't get to see as often as I would like to. And that includes all of you guys. I got to dance, which I absolutely love doing. I don't care if I'm not good at it. When I dance, everything falls away and I enjoy myself. I got to goof and flail like a maniac, push through pains like I did in sports, and push through blocks, getting stage fright and the nervousness and overcoming it because you know the people on stage have your back. And you know that even if you flop, that you guys would still cheer us on. I haven't watched Wade and Molly's wedding video yet. Don't tell Wade and Molly that. I told him I needed to watch it. I still need to watch it. It's on my to-watch list. Like, the You're Welcome tour was a piece of every single one of us. A piece of Ethan, whose energy and enthusiasm and just ADD pretty much knows no bounds. Mark's ambition, his push to be better, and his desire to do something fun and have fun with his friends. Wade's outlandish, silly craziness and goofy self. Bob's comedic timing, ability to pull something unexpected and surprise you at every moment and make you laugh, and genuine jolly nature and smiling face. Just a warm person to be around. A piece of my heart of passion and putting everything I could out on that stage every single day, and even afterwards sometimes feeling like I didn't do enough, that I fell short of where I should have been or missed the mark. And Dan's pure musical talent, bliss, and geniusness, pulling up songs, doing improv in 1 second or another, just absolutely pure and simple, every show, we pushed and we put ourselves into it. That show was who we are. And it was who we desire to be. To make people laugh. To give some people who don't even know who we are and hope they had a great time coming to the show. To make something that everybody would enjoy, although not always family friendly. And to just do something different, bigger, and better than a simple panel or a simple meet and greet. We wanted to create the same thing we create with our videos or our streams or our interactions with people on an individual basis. We wanted to do something so special that not only would we have fun with it each and every day and be able to change and have a different show each and every day, but that people that come to the show would enjoy it, would have fun, and feel closer and more connected with all of us. I'm sad that the You're Welcome tour has come to a close, but I'm proud of what it gave us and of what it gave to those that came to the show. I may have only been around on this interweb for 2 years, and that was one of the craziest things about me being on stage with those guys. Ethan, been doing YouTube for 5-6 years. Mark, 6 years. Wade and Bob, having done YouTube and doing Drunk Minecraft with Mark since the very beginning, and charity streams since the very beginning. All of them had established and worked so hard to get to where they were. And that's not to say I haven't put in hard work. It just hasn't been in the same place. To have been invited to be on stage with those guys, I will forever cherish. They definitely, in my mind, have far more skill and far more talent for what we were doing than I did. So much more experience. But nonetheless, I knew and trusted each and every single one of them to have my back. To pick up where I slacked. And I feel so lucky to have been able to be on that stage with those guys. And I hope that we get to do something like that again in the future. It won't be the same, even if we do. We would definitely change it up, but I hope I get an opportunity to do something like that with all those guys again. The You're Welcome tour will forever be one of the most incredible things and a cherished part of my life. So that's, I guess, my thoughts on the tour. I wish that was what I said on the stage that last night. I wish I had remembered everything and done so much. I learned so much about myself, my friends, and people I didn't know, and met so many amazing people along the way. It was an experience of a lifetime.